I like going hunting, just me, my hound, and my gun. Chasing them deer, rabbit, and squirrel, now that's my kind of fun. I like going fishing too, I'll go on any whim, looking for the big bass, the crappie, and the brim. Just give me a wide open field to walk through. Give me an ocean so deep. I want to ride the longest river in the world, or maybe climb the highest mountain peak. Like going down to the fishing hole, my buddies and me and my old cane pole. Bait them hooks and wet them lines, it's the life I love so fine. It's almost supper time, you'd think the world was mine.
And now for today's outdoor adventure, here's Archie Phillips.
Folks, the fast-growing sport of metal detecting or treasure hunting is a very interesting sport, and it's something that we enjoy doing and have been enjoying it since I started doing this about 30 years ago, way before they had the modern equipment using an old World War II minesweeper. And some of the first things I did was work around old home places and things like that. And you can find all kind of relics and coins and things that was left around or lost around an old home place. But there's many other uses for a metal detector, and some of the, the most outstanding fun you'll ever have. You can retrace the steps of history and enjoy your history more and just have a good time. It doesn't matter whether you're beach combing or looking for Civil War relics or whatever you want to use it for. Anytime people drop metal at any age, it can be found with the modern metal detectors of today. So come on, join us. Let's go see what we can do with this thing. Well, John, got Wayne Huggins right here from out of here at, well, you're from Bayview, aren't you, Wayne, or Moga?
Yes, I originally grew up around here.
Grew up. We're, this site is a home place site and a real old one. It's overlooking Bayview Lake, isn't that right, Wayne?
Yes.
And how about telling us what took place on this site?
Well, my great-great-granddaddy came down from South Carolina in the early 1800s and settled here. And this pile of rocks here is the old chimney.
In other words, it took y'all a while to find this place, didn't it? Even after knowing just about where it was, didn't you?
Yes. And grown up considerably.
Y'all did relocate the old grave site too, didn't you?
Yes,
just recently.
We've just recently relocated it and got a historical marker from the Jefferson County Historical Commission to go up there.
Well, what we want to do, it never has been worked, and we just want to kind of see if we can pick up any kind of relics from, now he said, what, about 1830, somewhere along in there?
Yes, middle of 1830s.
Middle 18?
Mm-hmm.
I think as you was telling me, you got all the documentation about him, about the war. Well, tell us a little bit about what he did.
He grew up in South Carolina up there and fought in the War of 1812 in the South Carolina militia. And after that, he married and moved down here and raised his family in Bayview here.
And there's Higgins all over this area that's kin
yes,
to, what was his name now?
Thomas Higgins.
Thomas Higgins.
Yes.
And he settled in here about 1830, wasn't it?
Yes.
And so that's the story. Well, we're going to move in here now. John Luckey, how about to search this spot. Now, we've got the Fisher machines here, and we got all kind of discriminating units and all. But we want to find, this is not close to any pull tab area. I mean, there's not a lot of civilized junk been thrown in here. What's here is probably just what was left years ago, isn't it?
Mostly just old nails and old things that were thrown away from the old home places.
And then got lost.
Could be some money and could be some good things here, but you never know till you look at it.
Okay, now what are we going to set up and how are we going to set up to comb this? We're going after everything, right?
Both of us have Fisher detectors. One of them has an 8-inch loop. The other one has a 12-inch loop. That one goes a little deeper for relics. This is more of a coin machine. But we're going to use them both in here. And we're going to dig everything we can find to show that these things will detect them. But we're not going to use the discriminating mode because we want to dig everything in here.
In other words, if we was looking for coins, we could with these machines, and the number of the small one here is...
this is 1265X and this is 2.
Okay.
They just have a different size loop.
Different size loop on. Okay,
right.
So let's show the settings and then we're going to start.
Okay, we're going to show you how to set the different settings on the 1265X Fisher machine. First of all, this is the on and off switch. All you do is turn it clockwise till it comes on. You turn your volume to wherever you want it, depending on whether you use earphones in the earphone plug or just use the speaker that we have here in the middle of the machine.
And we're not going to use earphones today because it's not noisy, right?
Right, today we're not going to use earphones, but first of all, we want to check our batteries. You push the battery check button. It gives you a tone.
Okay.
The next thing we'll do after we've turned it on is set our number 1 discriminate button at 3. The number 2 button we're not going to use today because it's for higher discrimination. We're going to dig everything today using discriminate 1.
Okay, now we don't even need to set it at all right now, do we?
No.
Normally we'd have it on what?
Normally we'd have this on about 6 or 6.5.
Okay.
But today we're going to leave it on 6, but we're not going to use the toggle switch.
Okay.
I'll show the toggle switch in just a minute. This is your sensitivity knob, and I'm going to run sensitivity all the way up today for the deep stuff under these leaf mold and the debris that's on top of all this iron ore and iron objects we're going to dig today. Okay, we've seen the settings on the front of the machine. Now we're going to the toggle switch on the bottom of the machine, which is located here. To pull the toggle switch puts you in the all metal mode. To let go of the switch, when you let go of the switch, it sets on discriminate 1 setting. To go to discriminate 2, you push the lever forward. That's all there is to the setting.
Now, John, the discriminator 2 is used mostly for what?
Knocking out all metal that you don't want.
Okay.
The good metals you discriminate, put it in the highest discriminate mode to get the better metals.
That's your coins, lead,
bullets, things of that nature.
But we won't find everything, so we're going to go with all metal right now.
Right.
All right, let's see if we can find some targets out here and some hot spots.
Let's go.
All right, Wayne. John, what would you call that reading you're just getting right there now? Average, bad, junky?
Semi-fair.
Semi-fair. All right, let's see.
That sounds good in the number 1 discriminate mode. But when you go to the number 2, it doesn't sound quite as good, but it could be.
Okay.
We'll dig and see.
Okay. Uh-oh, look at him. Look at him, Wayne. What have we got, John?
I broke it.
Oh, no, John. You know what that is?
It's off of, looks like off an old tub or some cooking utensil, I imagine.
Well, I'll be. And you broke. That's why you got to be careful digging this stuff, ain't it?
Well, it was broke anyway.
Was it? Okay. All right. Piling it up, John. Make another shot right in there. Let's see what we can come up with.
We're going to check the hole the second time.
All right. Wasn't that you telling me at the time you found a mini ball and went on down there and you found what about 2 hands full in one hole?
Yeah, a lot of stuff in one hole. That's what you find when you check it the second time. Getting something over there,
I got a target
Archie?
over here, John.
Go ahead and dig it. Sounds good.
All right. Let's see, Wayne. You got the shovel there. Let me re-spot it after I dig it up there. All right. Whew. Wait a minute, you're too close to me. Right there. Right there. And give me that pot hammer. Yeah, okay. All right, now, Wayne, you're a pretty good student of history, too. This is some of the junk we've dug up. We ain't been digging 15 minutes. I mean, it'd take us days to really work this site perfect, wouldn't it?
Yes.
You want to describe a little of this stuff?
Yeah. I think what we got here is maybe the part of a lid from a Dutch oven.
Okay.
We have part of a single tree that goes on a plow, and we have a plow point, and part of a look like a cooking pot, and a washer. We have some square nails we found.
Okay, now, y'all gonna put all this kind of in your family deal, ain't you? So you know about your grandfolks that was out here?
That would be good, huh?
Well, that's good. Well, we'll dig some more at a later time, and we appreciate you inviting us out here. We'd have never in the world found this without you showing us what all this stuff growed up. And we're going to get on. It's getting toward dark, and we'll get on back and we'll do some more. Folks, we're at Fort Rucker, Alabama, near the artillery range, and this is a piece of shrapnel of an exploded bomb, and this is what's supposed to happen when one of these projectiles hits or explodes. Invariably, they don't all go off. And we've got a team of folks here. It's their job to go dig them up and make them where they're harmless. And they got Jim Thornhill on the right and Quan Lee on the left there with the Explosive Ordnance Division, or as I put it, the bomb squad. And they're gonna show us how they find these things and get rid of them.
Archie, this is an overview of the entire ordnance stuff that's out here. We have out here from French missiles, mortars, grenades, rockets, and projectiles.
In other words, this is primarily everything y'all find out there.
This is just about everything we have found. This is from World War II up to the present time. This is everything we found out here.
Jim, how did you get into this wonderful type of work?
Well, I was trained when I was in the U.S. Navy at the U.S. Navy Explosive Ordnance Disposal School in Indian Head, Maryland.
I see, and they taught you about?
They taught me everything I know about ordnance and bombs and everything.
And how to get rid of them too, right?
And how to get rid of them,
I see.
how to make them safe.
Make them
That's
safe.
the idea.
Now, Quan Lee, where did you get your training?
In 1968, I went to the same school he did.
I see. And where did you?
I was in Vietnamese Navy.
Vietnamese Navy.
Yeah.
Did y'all, what type of work did y'all do there in the Navy? Did you go ashore and do this type work?
That's right. It's, I was working on this kind of job. It's underwater and up on the land.
I see. So y'all boys know your stuff out here on this Fort Rucker. Well, we're gonna show finding some of these and a little bit about some of them. Jim, how'd y'all wind up over here at Fort Rucker?
Well, Archie, we work for, the three of us are retired military. We work for UXB International, and we're hired to support the construction and modification of the new range. We do surface and subsurface clearance to make the area safe for the construction workers.
After an intensive orientation, which is required of everyone that comes onto the base, we were shown the different types of things that could be found here, and we were permitted to go along with Jim as he cleared an area on the base for the construction.
Right.
There you
Go
go.
now.
You got that one.
Something right there, Quan.
In other words, y'all got to go down this whole road, hadn't you, Jim? Check it all the way down.
All the way down.
I see.
Right there, Quan. Okay, now that's what
Okay,
I was
now,
talking about.
What is that now?
That's a 20 millimeter projectile right there.
Now, does that exploding type?
No, not this particular one.
Uh-huh.
This
You say
particular-
there's a lot of those in here.
There's a lot of them. The helicopters still fly these and fire them.
Well, I'll just be. But that just is a solid, that's a personnel type thing, isn't it?
This would more be like just a practice round.
I see.
In other words, instead of using high explosive rounds on these to shoot out here, they just use the solid shot.
I see.
But it'll definitely kill you if you wanted to. You got hit by it, it's just a
Let me
bullet.
ask you, is this the one they put in the helicopters that had the Gatling gun type thing? Is this what they shot?
Yeah.
This one right here?
Mm-hmm.
I see. And that was
They
that the
still
one
do.
used in Vietnam?
Used in Vietnam, and they still use them today.
Well, I'll be. And that's, tell me again the name of it now.
That's a 20 millimeter projectile.
For an millimeter projectile. Well, I'll just be. Well, we're gonna find all kinds of stuff up through here. Now, Jim, we want to be sure, I want to tell my audience this now. I've come off down here. You people are professional ordnance people, and nobody ought not to go around. None of these military bases. I noticed y'all had signs all up and down the road right there.
Mm-hmm.
How many millions of these you say is over here?
Well, just at a real rough estimate, you could say there could be up to 10 million duds
10 million duds.
in this 13,000 acre area.
Well, some of our viewers told us over at Hattiesburg at that military base, a man and his wife and a couple of kids had gathered up some of his surface stuff and they blew up and killed the whole family.
They should.
And so we just want to say this. We're here with permission with professional people just to show how metal detectors are used to clear out new and old ordinances to make these areas safe for the military personnel, really, so they can get back in here. So don't y'all folks know go getting on any military reservation. We're just here to show you how to use the detectors.
By using one of the underwater models of the Fisher metal detector, you're able to combine two exciting sports of metal detecting and underwater exploration. Any hole that may have been a swimming hole in times past that people may have lost money or chains or jewelry, or anywhere around an old grist mill or something of that sort, makes for a good place to do your metal detecting. You can use snorkels or go ahead with the scuba diving type apparatus. We have Ray Scott with us today who really enjoys this type of metal detecting work. We are right around here. We've found an old grist mill and we're looking for nails or some of the more metals that you would find. There you see a square nail, I believe it is, and you're liable to find most anything that was to do with the old mill. Mel Fisher and the explorations that they did out in the Gulf has made this more popular a sport in recent times. You may not go out there and find a chest of gold, but just the idea of getting down and looking at the different things that people might have dropped over the years is really exciting and gives you a little more to do than just looking at fish and that sort of thing. Old springs like you see here make for some real exciting diving. Of course, you got to be careful when you're doing this, but it really makes for an exciting portion of metal detecting to find dimes, quarters, different stuff that people has lost. And this is going to be a really more popular sport in times to come. Even though the metal detectors were designed to go in deep depths, you can also use them on beaches for beachcombing, wading along in different rivers and banks, and it can really be a versatile piece of equipment if used properly.
Ray, people have been swimming in this big old spring here for years and years, and they've drained her down, which give us a kind of a shallow place to work. Now, we didn't get rich out here, but this Fisher underwater job, I don't even know what some of this stuff is. Looks like we got about 20 cents worth of pennies, couple of nickels.
You got a bunch of stuff here. Some are pretty old coins.
Yeah, and I don't know what that is. No, that's a nickel. And we got a couple of quarters, and we got this. It ain't valuable, but it's just look like a little old necklace of some kind. And I don't know what that is. I found that a while ago. I don't know what that goes to.
That's I think that was probably an old wristwatch. You can see where it was hooked on there, and this is a hands right here that's been, kind of.
Could very well be one of them old timey. Maybe a pocket watch.
It was just a cheap watch. Yeah, it's a brass jacket.
Yeah. And there was a sawmill here that goes back 150 years at least. And there's an old square nail. And
that's a core's nail, isn't it?
I believe it is. I believe it is.
That's a piece of pottery, Archie, that came out of there. Lord knows where that came from. Yeah. That's back, I guess, Indian days.
Oh, it could be 10th. I found another piece or two while I was down there working. So people have been frequenting this springs for years and years and years. And anytime you got a swimming hole, these underwater M-scopes, everybody's always losing rings. I didn't find any rings or anything, but of course we ain't been searching that much. We just picked up what just probably fell out of people's pockets all along. So it's been fun. You ready to do some more?
Yeah, let's go back. I got plenty of air. Let's move.
Let's go. Now, folks, next time you hear that sound when you're out working with your metal detector, it might be an old rusty tin can. It might be a fruit jar full of coins. You never know. I saw a movie the other day where this fella was out there on this one-man fort, and he got scared about the Indians was going to attack, and he buried 4 cases of Henry repeating guns. And I thought to myself, what great fun that would be to be working around an old run and get a good loud signal like I just got, and dig down about 8 or 10 inches and find crated up some 1862 through 1865 Henry lever action rifles that was buried at that time. Now I want to say this to you, when you do your metal detecting and treasure hunting, get permission from your landowners if it's not your own land. And if they give you permission to hunt, be nice enough, just like littering the highways, just be nice enough, you cover your holes back up, put it back nice and neat, and make as little disturbance as possible so that people will always be glad to have you come around again. And they have so many uses. You can just sit out there and think about all the different uses of the metal detector. And one use that really saves you a lot of money that I've had to use it for a bunch of times is finding your survey points that maybe not have been surveyed for years, and you go out to know just about where they're at, and you can take your metal detector and go right out there and find your property lines there. So it's a great sport, and it's got so much potential, and it's just a real fine thing to do. And whether you're corn shooting, beach combing, or underwater, metal detecting is one of America's fastest growing sports. So get your metal detector and get out there and have fun and have at it. And y'all folks stay tuned again next week for some more Outdoors with Archie Phillips.